Hey guys, welcome back to Let's Play Final Fantasy Tactics Part 28, where we're sitting outside of Wherein Monastery after a difficult but fast fight against our dear friend Wygruff, who is now aligned with the church. Alma's been kidnapped by Islud, another holy knight that we successfully beat up inside of Wherein Monastery, and when we defeated Wygruff, it turns out he turned into Velius, using the power of the stone Virgo. Ares. Using the power of the stone Ares. Islud had Virgo, but we took it from him when we beat him up. So now we've been given the Germanic scriptures. Let's see. The Germanic scriptures. This is a record of Saint Ajura, written by his disciple Germanic. It was supposed to be a lost book. Let's see what we've got here. I picked up the Germanic scriptures Simon gave me and flipped through the pages. The text was in an ancient holy script with drawings in places. It was damaged and hard to read. I wondered what was written in it. Then I saw some words in a language I recognized. Somebody had written some notes in the Ikoku language. Who could have done it? I don't know, probably the person that read the book. Judging from the ink, the older notes were written years ago. But the newer ones were written only days ago. It smudged when I rubbed it. Why would you rub? I don't even know. The ink was not yet dry. They were written by the same person. I realized Simon had been slowly translating this book over the years. Tried reading it by referring to his partial notes. It says, this is written by a follower of Saint Ajura, Germanic. Germanic? I'd heard that name before. Must have been in history class. Then it came to me. Germanic was the disciple who betrayed Saint Ajura by selling him to the Eudora Empire. Yeah, Saint Ajura is basically Jesus. Germanic would therefore be Judas. It was amazing Germanic's book was even still in existence. Calming myself, I turned the pages. Then, I found something more amazing than the historical legacy in my hands. I thought Germanic compiled Saint Ajura's words in this book, but I was wrong. It's a record of Saint Ajura's activities. And not the Saint Ajura we know. A record of Ajura, the human. First off, Saint Ajura is not human. I'm not a true believer in Glabados like Zalbag, but I do believe Saint Ajura was a child of God sent from heaven to save this troubled world. Rather, I should say I did believe. Until I read this book. It was the Golden Age, when many airships flew all over the sky. Oh my gosh, is this the Da Vinci Code? The day Saint Ajura was born in Bervinia of Lassalia, he stood up, walked to the well, and said, "Calamity will come from this well soon. We must seal it so people don't drink the water." Days later, plague swept over Bervinia. The people who drank the tainted water died. But the only family who believed him didn't get sick and survived. Since then, people called him Miracle Child, Child of God. When Saint Ajura turned 20, he became a savior and was sent to heaven as a member of God. Long before Ivalice was united, it was divided into 7 small kingdoms: Zeltinia, Fovelham, Lionel, Limbury, Lassalia, Galleon, Morand. As the kingdoms continued to increase their territories, the wars continued. In the several hundred years of war, an ambitious young king was born in Morand. Though he led an army large enough to cover Ivalice, The way to victory was long and hard. Using the secret method from an ancient book, the king tried to summon an evil spirit and use its power. But the evil spirit killed the king and tried to destroy the world. One brave, with 12 followers, collected zodiac stones from all over the world and revived them. They destroyed evil in an instant and succeeded in sending the evils back to Hades. This is how they became saviors. That's the Zodiac Braves legend. Ever since, every time the world is in danger, they appear, save the world, and disappear. When Saint Ajora was alive, similar things occurred. The king of Limbury summoned an evil spirit to take over Ivilis. The world once again fell into crisis. Saint Ajora collected 12 holy stones, just like the legend, formed the Zodiac Braves, and killed the evil. But heroes are always a nuisance to rulers of a country. The Eudora Empire was afraid of Ajora, who was gaining power, announcing the arrival of God's kingdom. So basically what happened a long time ago is that the Jesus analog created the Knights of the Zodiac. So, Saint Seiya happened, or Saint Seiya happened and all that stuff. Or sorry. So what happened was that a long time ago, the crystal dragon Jesus created the Sailor Scouts to destroy the evil in the world. Eudora sent troops against one of his sects. The priests of Farah, the largest sect then, were afraid of Saint Ajora. The priests of Farah, the largest sect then, were afraid of Saint Ajora's power. He was caught and executed at Golgoran execution grounds after Germanic told of his whereabouts for money. But Saint Ajora was a child of God, and the priests of Farah were smitten by an angry god. After the execution, the base at Farah, Murun, sunk by various natural disasters. This is how Saint Ajora was sent to heaven as a child of God, and became a member of God. In other words, he got captured by the Roman analogs and crucified by the Roman analogs, and then God's wrath sank the entire place into the ocean. And that's all I know. All anyone in Ikoku knows of the myth of Saint Ajora. But the Saint Ajora in the Germanic scriptures was a totally different person. Ajora was not a child of God, but a human just like us. An ambitious revolutionary who fought to fulfill his dream. Moreover, he loved peace and was not a hero who risked his life for others. This is what Germanic wrote. A founder of an advanced new religion, Ajora was a threat to the empire. But Ajora had another side to him other than being a priest. He was a spy who entered enemy territory agitating and gaining information. Anyhow, Ajora was a threat to the empire. The empire sent Germanic to find proof that Ajora was a spy. Yes, Germanic was also a spy of the empire, watching Ajora's activities. They say Ajora tried to revive the Zodiac Braves. Germanic found some holy stones to prove it. But what does that have to do with Reformation? I don't know if young King Limbury really summoned an evil spirit. At least nothing is written about it in the book. However, it's a fact that Wherein met with natural disaster and sunk into the sea at the time of Ajora's death. This is where Simon's notes were most interesting. They appeared to be his personal opinion. Despite rumors of its existence, no one ever saw the Germanic scriptures. I don't know whether the book tells the truth or fabricates Ajora's great achievements. When I was a heresy examiner for the church, many examiners felt afraid to show the people the book. The high priest probably felt the same because everything the book said was true. After Ajora's death, the church had to unite Saint Ajora with God, making him divine. To do that, unsuitable facts had to be deleted from history, and Saint Ajora had to become a child of God. They were wise to use the Zodiac Brave story, widely believed in Ikoku. It was easy to make people believe the Zodiac Braves, led by Ajora, killed an imaginary evil spirit. When I read this book, I lost my faith. But I'm not sad, because it inspired me to search for the truth. At the same time, I'm guilty for not bringing it to light, even though I knew the church was lying. Why? Because if I told people about the book, I was afraid they would take the library away from me. I would have been devastated if the library was taken away from me, because it satisfied my thirst for knowledge. But my curiosity got the best of me. Simon spoke of an imaginary evil, but I sensed a scheme by someone other than the high priest. After seeing the berserk power of the holy stones, after seeing the berserk power of the holy stones. So what's the truth? Will you join me in our search for the truth? Casualties. I don't remember having a casualty. Everybody's still alive, right? Yeah, I don't know what they mean by casualty. So, what's the truth? Was Saint Ajora really a child of God sent from heaven to save mankind that was killed by the Empire? Or was he just some sort of revolutionary leader that went around collecting holy stones in order to try to gain power, much like the church is trying to do? Well, considering that the church is trying to collect the holy stones to also revive the Zodiac Brave story, and the fact that the holy stones seem to be corrupting people and turning them into monsters, maybe it's somewhere between the two. Maybe somewhere along the way, Saint Ajora really did exist, and he really did try to bring back. Maybe Saint Ajora did collect the stones, and somewhere along the way he got corrupted. But either way, we're headed off to Jordan Trade City. It's an interesting question. What if Jesus was really not Jesus? What if Jesus was really not the Son of God? What if he was a spy? And Judas himself was a spy. And everybody was spying on each other. And after his death, the church just decided to call him a spy. Heretic Ramza! Where is Alma? If you want her back, come to Wherein castle. But you must bring the Germanic scriptures given you at the monastery. What does it mean to you? Haven't you read it? Yes. Return Alma if you don't want the church's lies exposed. You're in no position to demand. You have no choice. You've been warned. We'll see that guy again. I'm not looking forward to it. Not because, not for any particular reason. I just don't like that guy. Not personality-wise, not power set-wise. He's just a jerk. But enough about that. We have our new destination. Wherein Castle. To get there, we go through Grog Hill, Yardal Fort City, Yu-Gi-Oh! Woods, and that leads to Wherein. So, this chapter is already 15 minutes in. Let's see what new equipment we could buy. Oop, we get Ramza a new harp. Any swords here? Oh, but here's a new bag. For Gelki. It looks like some new gear is actually available, so I'm gonna go ahead and with this chapter being this way, I'm gonna cut it here. For this chapter, there's no battle. There's just, this stuff. Well, let's go over a couple of things. Here's the first shop. If you have a thief that you level with enough job points, you can learn a skill called Poach. And what it is if you using Poach, if you get a monster to critical, and you have Poach equipped, instead of killing the monster with a killing blow, instead you'll poach it, which means you pretty much skin it or tear it apart for parts, which unlocks items that you can buy down in the first shop. But since with this chapter being the way it is, let's just take a look at the Zodiac Brave story to see what's going on. So what do we know so far? That was Ramza mentioned funeral. Whose funeral? That's Marge's funeral. The high priest of the Muran Glabados church. He masterminded the Lion War. So he revived the powers of the church, which was lost during the 50-Year War, and his ambition is to raise the power of the church higher than that of the king. While urging Prince Larg and Goltana, he is collecting the Holy Stones, as well as trying to capture the hearts of the people. So that's ultimately the guy who's behind both the war and the search for the Holy Stones. It's Marge's funeral. Let's see. Wygraf's back. He's currently one of the Temple Knights. Malik's a new name, and that's the name of the mysterious priest that we just encountered, the mysterious wizard. He's a member of an elite assassination group, the Camuja, assembled by Barrington. So he's part of Larg's team. Barrington are they're like a fourth group of knights. There's the Hokatin under Larg and out of Egros. There's the Nantin under Goltana and Bethla Garrison. So now this is the Camuja, assembled by the Barrington, who I honestly can't remember who controls the Barrington. He became orphaned in the 50-Year War, saved and brought up as a magician by Barrington, thanks to the prince as his real father. Therefore, he is forced to fight against his real sister, Rafa, who is an enemy of the prince. Well, I don't know who Rafa is yet, but we do know who Ajora is. He was born 12 centuries ago in Baravinia of Lassalia, raised by Milodos, spoke of the arrival of a kingdom of a higher source, as feelings of antipathy grew from Father Farah. Executed as a traitor by the Holy Empire of Eudora, soon after the capital of the Church of Farah became submerged under sea by an extraordinarily natural phenomenon. Those disciples of Ajora believed this was his miracle, and these stories spread, and the Glabados Church became what it is today. We also encountered Islud, Temple Knight of the Muran Glabados Church, son of the Temple Knight Vormath. Ooh, have we met Vormath? I think we have. A member of the new Zodiac Braves, he had the Holy Stone Pisces. He unquestionably believes in his father's words, but does not know the secret powers of the Holy Stone to summon Lucavi. So no, Islud has no idea what the stones actually do. Let's see, we have encountered Vormath. Oh right, Vormath's the one that broke into Ovalia. That Ovalia is not a princess. Head of the Temple Knights of the Muran Glabados Church, leader of the new Zodiac Braves, which High Priest Funeral tried to recreate, but Vormath seems to have his own intentions. So, the story so far seems to be this. High Priest Funeral created one who wants to regain the powers after the church lost power after the 50-Year War, started the Zodiac sent his knights out to create the Zodiac Braves. So they're searching for the stones to create the Zodiac Braves to get the people on their side, led by Vormath as the lead of the Zodiac Braves. While all this is going on, Funeral urges the prince, the two princes, Prince Larg out of Egros, and Prince Goltana out of Bethla Garrison, which is somewhere over here, to each try to take the throne, to each try to be regent for the throne. And that sparks off a war between the two. which is currently going on right now. He wants to extinguish the power of both sides, because they're the two dominant sides in Ivolus, so that once they've become weakened enough, the church, along with backed by the Zodiac Braves and their own personal army, could sweep in and reunite all of Ivolus under the church's banner instead of one individual king, prince, or princess. So, with that all said and done, we're gonna end this part here. I'm gonna go run around and visit new places to see about new equipment, and when we come back, we'll go see about rescuing Alma from Rio Vane's castle by heading to Grog Hill. See you then.